Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot, and apologies for my absence yesterday. I had lots of people wanting to tell me lots of things, hours and hours of things, and so I just didn't have time to get to tarot. And today finally, I'm here. We've had a bit of a moment with Fluffy this afternoon. There was a bolt of thunder out of the blue and a burst of hail, and I had 2 hours of a shivering cat on my lap and managed to coax her back to life, take her outside because she desperately needed to go outside, and a plane flew overhead. And it sounded just like thunder, so we're back to square one again with poor Fluffy. Anyway, she's sitting here next to me. She seems to be sleeping nicely now and recovered a bit. So we're on the tarot table finally after all these various dramas, domestic dramas, and I have the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot on the tarot table. We're going to look at a rumour. Today, in the first reading, we're going to be looking at King Charles related stories today. Some of them a bit grim, so brace yourselves and switch off if you find it triggering. The first story I'm going to be looking at is this rumour that Harry is back in the UK to see his father. A 3-day trip to the UK that's either happening right now, according to rumours, or is planned for later this month. And this is because, according to these rumours, some of them come from News Nation. I'm not sure what kind of a source it is, so I think this is going to be one of these big allegedly stories. This is the reason that Harry is allegedly visiting the UK specifically to see his father is because King Charles is very ill. And the rumour says that he is now declining treatment, and so there's that. I won't say more about that. As I say, it's a rumour. It seems unlikely given the BBC interview and the strop and all the threats and the unpleasantness and the lack of trust on the part of the royal family for Harry. And if Harry does see the king, then he's likely to run straight to the BBC or somewhere else and blab about whatever is going on with the king. So it sounds most unlikely to me, but I'm going to check it because that's what we do here. We check energy around these kinds of stories, see what's going on, see what the situation is. So I want to know who's leaked this rumour. I want to know whether Harry actually wants to connect with his father at this point. I want to know how the king is doing just generally. I want to know whether he wants to have anything to do with Harry at this point. In previous readings on this kind of topic, I've seen that the two aren't going to reconcile, but this is a very fluid situation. And so maybe things have shifted a little bit. And then we're going to ask if they are going to meet soon and what would be the outcome of such a meeting. So that's what we're looking at first today with the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. And a microphone that looks like it's going to fall on the floor any second, but never mind, we'll rescue it. I just want to shuffle. I want to get these cards. I'm feeling quite shaky suddenly as I'm doing this, which tells me there's a lot of energy in this story. I'm feeling a bit like Fluffy has been all afternoon, actually. Poor Fluffy. And so something going on. Oh yeah, definitely something going on. Okay, we've shuffled. We need to remind you it's tarot and it's for fun and entertainment. It is all speculation. It is all my opinion. Just read energy here and disclaimer in the box below. I'm going to put the cards out, then we're going to rescue the mic and see what is going on with the story. There's a rumour, and if there is any hope or chance or prospect of a reconciliation. Well, 4 of Wands, underlying energy, possibly there is. Block your ears, moving the mic just a little bit, and hopefully that wasn't too loud and disruptive. 4 of Wands, royal family, very much the palace, Windsor Castle, all of that kind of stuff, the happy home, celebrating, It's very positive energy, the Four of Wands, when it's upright. It's a very lovely card because it shows family, it shows home, it shows the celebration aspects of family, whether it's weddings or birthdays or those kinds of events that everyone gathers for. And I did think, I had a little suspicion that Harry might have been angling to get an invite to that balcony for the VE Day celebrations. It's still giving me that kind of a vibe. So possibly there's some substance to this rumor. We're going to check. What's the heart of this reading? What is really going on here? Coming back in from the cold. Five of Pentacles, the outcast card, when it's upright, banished, exiled, ruined, ill, broke, all of that. And in reverse, want to come home. I want to come home. We've seen there has been, Megan's been in her concert phase. First the Beyonce concert, then the James Taylor one. With a glum looking has-been. He seems to be wearing hats and beanies and things like that. So maybe he's had some plugs put in. And we're going to see him with a full head of hair suddenly, which would be quite funny. I think we all need light relief like this at the moment in these rather tough times we're all finding ourselves in. But that tells me Harry wants back in. Absolutely, he wants back in there. That is my opinion, of course. So let's see what's going on. Who's behind this rumour? I suppose a who and a why, really. What's going on with this rumour? We're at a crossroads. We're at a sort of an impasse where it's not clear where the future is, where the future lies, which path should be chosen. I get this energy quite often for Harry and Meghan, and I know lots of people, most people say Meghan will never go back to the UK. She wants nothing to do with the royals. She doesn't want any of that. I don't believe that. I think that if the royals said, come, you can live at Windsor Castle, you can be crowned queen, you can go in the gold carriage, she would be there like a shot. That's my personal opinion because she's got nothing else. But this crossroads energy of just being lost, of not knowing which way to turn, where does his future lie, and meaning Prince Harry's future lie, also Meghan Markle's. I think they're both equally lost and floundering and scratching around for something to cling on to in that Two of Swords energy. That's just my opinion. So I think that this is testing the water and seeing what's the temperature basically in that card. That's my opinion. Decision time, big decision for them. Do they go crawling back? Do they grovel and go crawling back or not? How eager is Harry to see his father, according to the tarot reading energy here, of course. And I've got the Two of Wands in reverse. This is the planning card, planning and preparation, global conquest, as you can see there, looking out, getting ready for something, kind of an enterprise. It tells me, how I'm reading this card, is that Harry's plans and stratagems have failed. His ventures, his partnerships, his Netflix deals, his Better Up and all of that. I think he's still a chimpo, but nothing's really worked out, and all the things that he has done to earn money, like the book, the Netflix documentary and whatever, there's been a ferocious blowback that really I don't think he expected, and it's kind of taken, you know, I'm mixing metaphors terribly, but taken the wind out of his sails. He's really got nothing left to offer anyone except for more scandal, more gossip, more blowing up bridges, more destroying his family. That tells me, how I'm reading that card, Two of Wands in reverse, that he's run out of ideas. We've got two twos here, and twos are all about decisions and who you team up with, who you choose. And he's chosen the wrong path so far, and I reckon would like to go back to the safe haven of the royal family, with or without her. And so let's look at the king, and let's just do a quick health check-in, because this horrible story did make quite a big issue of the king's current health status, which I'm not trying to give too much airtime to. So I just want to look. I've got the Strength card in reverse. That's a big worry, because the Strength card upright is virile kind of energy, robust health, very strong, healing. When you're talking about health situations, in reverse, weakened, not healing. I think we're all quite aware at this point that whatever he is suffering from is something that he's not going to be cured of, but can possibly live with. But that's a concerning card. And it's major arcana. It's a very concerning card. I'm going to move on from it. Don't want to dwell on that energy. How eager is the king to see Harry in current circumstances, bearing in mind that Harry has a tendency to go running to news organisations straight after he's met with senior members of the royal family to run his mouth to them. Does the king want to see his son? Absolutely, yes, he does. That's a very direct communication card, the Eight of Wands. Possibly now that the security case has gone out the way and it looks like Harry is finally going to admit defeat and let it go, and it was always tricky for the king, it was a constitutional matter, it put him in a very awkward situation. Possibly now that that is out of the picture, channels of communication have opened up. We're going to look at a completely contradictory story coming from Meghan Markle allegedly in the next reading. But for now, I'm seeing that there is communication between the two sides there, that there might be possibilities of at least a conversation, whether face to face, I don't know, or just messaging. That to me is more messaging between what's the word, underlings is the wrong word, but it's the only word that's come to my mind. I don't think that's the king directly writing a letter, dear boy, darling boy. We know that the king doesn't do mobile phones. I know that they're very wary, or allegedly very wary, of having any kind of communication that can be recorded, repeated on social media or Netflix or wherever. So it's difficult, but if it goes from a lawyer or from a courtier or something like that, and it's recorded and it's documented and it's safe at some level, communication definitely underway, I would say. And it's not to one-sided, I don't think, because the Eight of Wands is fast communication that bats back and forth. So messages going back and forth. So possible that this rumor, this source, might have some merit to it. Let's see if they are going to meet. And it's like now or in the next few weeks, according to the source. It doesn't look like a Two of Cups in reverse. That's not a card of reconciliation. When it's in the reverse, it's a card of not reconciling. Perhaps whatever conversations are going on behind the scenes, or perhaps between go-betweens, that's a better word than underlings, not going to go very well. Or perhaps Madame will throw a spanner in the works, as Madame is wont to do, allegedly. I think Neil Sean's been quite full of those stories. Like, no, it's not Neil Sean and not that. No, I'm mixing people up. Sorry. I think we've gone back to the Beckham Pelt saga, and she seems to be the one to throw a spanner in the works when there's reconciliation, and the often allegedly. But that Two of Cups in reverse tells me no reconciliation. And this is the same energy that I've been getting in previous readings, where it's going to be too little and too late. It's delayed, possibly the Two of Cups in reverse, a delayed reconciliation. Again, the too little, too late energy. So that's consistent outcome of this latest possible attempt at reconciliation. How's it going to end? I've got the Eight of Pentacles here, which is the work card. It could be working on the situation, trying to improve it. So even if they don't meet, there might be consistent efforts, sustained efforts to work on the relationship and achieve some sort of compromise or some kind of peace between them. But I'm not really getting it like that. I'm giving the card the benefit of the doubt there. It tends more towards the king being the king and doing his job, King Eight of Pentacles, doing his work as monarch. keeping himself occupied with all of that. He's got a busy schedule ahead. He seems to be enjoying getting out and about and doing his meet and greets and traveling and all that kind of stuff. It's more to me that the king is just going to really focus on doing what he's supposed to be doing. And that situation with Harry looks, to me, it looks unresolved. But there is energy in here of Harry wanting to connect, wanting to come back, even though we are hearing that the BBC thing was the last straw for the king. And also for Prince Harry, I'm going to look at that in the next reading. As I say, the rather contradictory message that's been coming at the same time as this particular message. One of the reasons we do tarot, or possibly the reason we do tarot, is to try and pick through these contradictory stories that we get constantly from the royals, from all the royals, wherever the royals are royaling. That's a concerning card for me, and that's a very sad card, the Two of Cups in reverse. Even though he's a brat and he's appalling, and he always seems to have been appalling by all the things we're hearing now, it's still tragic, really, if you can't reconcile, and if you do, for whatever reason, leave it too late. That's the reading. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.